Hi, I'm Dennis with the Garage Engineer, and today I wanted to talk about inexpensive ways to do dust collection. Now in my shop I haven't yet hard piped my dust collection system into the walls, but what I'm doing is kind of a temporary measure, and also I try to figure out a cheaper way to do it than using the typical dust collection accessories that is sold at like woodworking shows. Most of the stuff I found was at the local box stores, and one was a pool supply store, which we'll get into in a minute. Now with dust collection, they always say to get as big as you can so you can get the most flow, and you also want smooth walled piping. But without having to go to your plumbing supply and go to that full expense, if you just need to run short runs, what I found was this drainage pipe is you can extend it. It's now the inside of it is not smooth, so you're going to get those ridges, and that will reduce some of your dust collection, but it does work. It comes in 4 and 6 inch sizes. I use the 4 inch, and also you can cut it to whatever lengths. They make, if you cut the pipe, they make attachments you can put onto it, so if you don't need a full run. This I think was only about $10 or so it's not that expensive. And it's a good alternative to hard piping. Plus it's flexible, so you don't need as many connections. You just keep one long row and just kind of adjust it the way you want. Now from the end of the 4 inch pipe, I reduce it down just for convenience down to 1.5 inch pipe. This is a kit that I got. I think it was a rigid kit. It was that's probably about 6 foot of hose. It comes with rubber ends, and I think these attachments, it came like 3-4 attachments. This was from another kit, but this whole kit was almost like $24 for 6 foot of piping. And I thought that was a little expensive, and I usually use this. It's smaller, but I use it on the end runs of like to the tool, just to make it a little easier to maneuver when I'm trying to suction up. I have it set up. I put these 2 1/4 inch ends on the pipe, and that way I can do attachments. Like here's a suction attachment. This is just a standard 2 1/4 shop vac attachment that you can just pop right on there. So the reason why I decided to make a video was because I needed to improve the dust collection on my CNC machine, but I needed to figure out a way to connect this end of the pipe to my dust collection system. This is 1.5 inch pipe. It's flexible, it's pretty durable, but when you figure out the cost, it's almost $2 to $3 a linear foot for this. But what I've found is if you go to your pool supply company, they sell the exact same pipe. This is 1.5 inch pipe. It's just not orange, it's just blue, what you've seen at many houses, and it's just as flexible. If not, I think it's even stronger. But I can get it for $1 a foot. So that's pretty good. So this 40-foot piece costs $40, and I think even on Amazon they sell it too, and I put a link down below where you can find it. If you can get it around $1 a foot, that's a good going rate. So since I keep this side permanently connected to the 4 inch hose, then I will need somehow to connect these two together, but they're different sizes. So earlier when I was trying to connect these, I was trying to find plumbing supply fixtures, couplers, to connect it, but nothing ever really fit right. 2 inch was always too big for like 2 1/4, and 1.5 inch was also too big. But what I found out today was you can get a coupler. If you get the 2 inch, but the female version is threaded on the inside, that actually is just a little bit too tight for the 2 1/4 pipe. So what we're going to do is, I don't have a lathe, we're going to try to figure out, we're going to do some sanding and just sand it down just a little bit to get it to fit over there. And also the same way, I wasn't able to find a female 2 inch reduced down to a female 1.5 inch, but they do also sell this coupler. It goes from a 2 inch down to 1.5 inch threaded. So this 1.5 inch threaded is also just a little bit too big for the pipe, but that's a good thing. So what we're going to do is sand it down to slide it over. The reason I would find alternatives to couplers from online or at woodworking shops is that those couplers specifically made for the woodworking industry would make things easier, but they also run $7 to $14 depending on what type of reducer, what size you want. These were only about $2 or $3, so you're getting close. When you need two of them connected, it's almost $6, $7. But if you can find one piece that has your needs, then usually the coupler would only be about $3 or $4. But this is what I found, so I just went ahead with it. To show you a little bit of my dust collection setup, I've got just a standard Harbor Freight, I think that's 1.5 horsepower dust collection system. I did upgrade it to a PowerTech micron, I think it's like 1 micron dust bag. They also sell solid filters that go on top, but I like this dust bag. It's not bad. I think it was about 30 bucks and does really well. But then what I really like is I built a thine separator. It goes on top of here. What it does is you get your dust coming in here. It collects the big dust and it drops down. The bigger pieces go into the trash can. And then you're not supposed to have any dust really going into the actual dust collection system here. It's just more of a vacuum. But right now, I'm doing such fine detailed work with MDF on my CNC machine. The fine dust is getting caught down into the bag, but just that little bit amount is all right. Most of it's going into the trash can itself, so I'm pretty happy with that, and it saves on having to change the bag out. And it's a lot easier. So I can show you, this is kind of where I'm using right now. Nothing's hard piped in. I'm just using that 4-inch not corrugated, but the adjustable gutter material, and it goes into the dust collection system here. Now onto the part that goes to the suctioning section. I used some more of that 4-inch. But I did buy an adapter that was 4-inch down to 2¼ inch, and then I just taped it. I used aluminum HVAC duct tape to help seal up any of the holes or to keep all the vacuuming in. So from here, this 2¼ inch pipe is what connects to my orange pipe. So the issue that I have is I need to connect the hose that goes to the dust boot to my orange hose that's connected to the 4-inch pipe going to the dust collector. This is 2¼ inch, and this is the 1 3/4 inch, but it's too big. So that's why we got the connector that I showed you earlier, that we just need to make it fit and sand it down. So let's do that right now. Now if you don't have an oscillating sander like this, you can also, they do sell the same type of drum sander that you can attach to drills and do the same process. Also, if you don't want to go to this expense, you can always do it by hand with a file. And also, if you even have a lathe, you can even go that route and put it in a lathe and more precisely grind it down. But I don't have that, so we're just going to go with the sander for now, and we'll just grind it down until I get to the right diameter. So now we just changed out the diameter of our drum, and to accommodate the 1.5 inch that we're going to sand down. So now that we have our part sanded to fit, what we're going to do is take our 1.5 inch, connect it to the end of our pull hose. And also what I've seen to make it even tighter, you can put the silver tape like I did, but you can also put hot glue on the inside, and that helps seal up the any air holes there. And then now we slip on our 2-inch convert reducer, coupler. It's also been sanded down to accept the other end. Now this is our orange hose that we use normally when we're just sucking up dust around the shop. Take off the attachment, and then this is 2 1/4. It just slides right in here. So I'm ready. So when I'm going from cleaning up the shop to using the CNC machine, I can just quickly release it and connect it. And it's pretty tight fit, so I'm pretty happy with what we got now. It makes it a lot easier. So for those who are interested on the setup for the CNC machine, I just wanted to show you, here's our orange pipe connected to our new coupler that we just made. Here's our pull hose, that's $1 a linear foot. And the blue hose is connected to a bracket that I made. It's movable, so when the CNC head moves, I just put some conduit pipe, screwed it to some wood, and screwed that down to my support board there. I just took some 3/8" washers and welded them onto a 3/8" round bar. See, I've got another washer here, and then I got another one up here. I didn't use the one on the very end right here because I found that the bend was just enough on the second to last one. So then our blue hose comes and takes it to my attempt of making a dust collection system. This is based off of the Suck It Dust Boot. If you don't want to make your own, I would highly recommend going with the Suck It Dust Boot. They are terrific. I just wanted to challenge myself to make one. I probably need to remake it. It's not, the fit isn't as tight as I like to on some of the brackets. Theirs are a lot better. But what I did modify was I split the panel that goes into it so I can easily get into my bit. And this just slides in, and there's magnets on the side there that connects it. So when it slides in, it just clicks into the magnet. And then I have this part. This is the blue hose. See, I just took the end of the blue hose. This isn't a part that came on an older shop vac, so I just repurposed it from an older one and then just hot glued it into my base. And then this right here, I found at the box store. It was for door sweeps that it was a little bit longer. I cut it. But now, that was back 2 or 3 years ago, and it was hard to find parts online. But now I think there's some companies that are specifically making the skirt that for this purpose. I couldn't find it before, but for some reason now I'm seeing a whole bunch of it. And then the bracket just attaches to the Z-axis back on the back there, and I use some T-track channel there to hold it, so this can slide up and down, and this so you can slide it onto the material. It's independent of the Z-axis. Actually, this would be the Y. This is the Z-axis that moves up and down the travel of when it's cutting, so the dust collection does not move when we're cutting. It's just the head that moves, so that's why I like that design more than trying to attach it to the dust collection to the actual router itself. Thanks for watching my video on inexpensive hacks to your dust collection system. Now this is just temporary, but I plan to put in a full 4, maybe 6" hard pipe all around the shop, but I just haven't decided how I want to do it yet. I think I'm going to be rearranging it. But I hope this helps you at least get started on better dust collection systems. And I do know that I lose efficiency with some of the items that I use, that you're not getting as much suction power. But for what I use it for, is plenty, and it's a lot quieter to run that dust collection unit than just a regular shop vac. My shop vac was probably twice as loud, so I'm glad I did do the upgrades of what I've done so far, but I would love to hard pipe it into my shop, and it will get a lot of the piping up off the floor and up in the ceiling. But for now, it does what it needs to do, and I hope this helps you.